Okay, in this video, we're going to practice graphing the inverse. So I have a function down here. We'll label it as f. I have a function here, and I want to graph the inverse of this on the same grid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick points that are easy to read on here, and I'm just going to switch my x's and my y's in order to graph this. So this point right here that I just plotted, the one all the way to the left, is the point -2, -3. So when I go to graph my inverse, that's going to be the point -3, -2. The next point on the right is the point -1, -2. So when I go to graph that point on my inverse, it's going to be the point -2, -1. The next point to the right is the point 2, -1. So when I go to graph that point that's on the inverse, it's going to be the point -1, +2. And then the last point that I picked is the point 7, 0. So when I go to graph that, that's going to be the point 0, 7, which is a little bit up here off the grid. We'll estimate. We'll estimate it to be about right there. Okay, and then I'm going to mark all those dots, and then I can check to make sure it looks like a reflection across the line y equals x. Here's my line y equals x, and it definitely looks like a reflection. Okay, another example of graphing an inverse. We'll call this function f. And I'm going to pick some points here. I'm going to pick this point, try to pick points that are obvious and easy to read. Here's some points here. So I'm just going to take those ordered pairs and I am going to switch them, the x's and the y, so I can graph the inverse. Okay, so I'm going to look at this point first. I'm going to switch that point. I have the point -6, -3. So when I switch those, it's going to be -3, -6. So that's right here. I'm going to switch -4, -1 to be -1, -4. Then I'm going to switch the point -3, 0 to be 0, -3. And then -1, +2 would become 2, -1. And then the point 0, 5 would become 5, 0. So this is a picture of my inverse. And when I check, it looks like a reflection across the line y equals x.